Hey everyone, it's the Asset Stacker. Hope everyone's doing well. Just wanted to do a quick video. Today is Wednesday. This past Saturday, my wife and I was able to go to another coin show. So this is the third coin show that I've been to. The second one that my wife has been to. There was a coin show in between the first and the third coin show. There was a second coin show that I went to with Southeast Stacker. But this was the second one that my wife and I got to go to, and it was actually in Gadsden, Alabama. And it was, I can't remember who it was, what organization it was that put this coin show on, but it was the smallest of the three coin shows that I'd been to. Obviously, the first one I went to was in Birmingham, which was, I believe, is the largest one in Alabama. And then the second coin show that I went to was Southeast. That was the Dalton, Georgia show, and it's a pretty good sized show. Apparently that particular coin show, I think it does twice a year, and it's probably, from my understanding, is probably one of the top 4 coin shows that there are in the Southeast. So obviously the fun shows are much bigger, but I think next to the fun show, they say that the Dalton shows are probably, I guess, the next ones down on the list, and then possibly some in Chattanooga. So I need to check out the Chattanooga shows when they come available. But anyway, I did go into this show. It was, like I said, it was the smallest of the 3 shows that I've been to, but there were still a ton of things to look at. And the selection that was there. There were, originally at the first coin show that I went to, I wanted to try to find the wanted Trump bar, 1 ounce Trump bars, and I found one in the second show that I went to. Did not find it in the Birmingham show, but this particular show, and you'll see it in a clip later on, there were actually 5 of them at one table. And man, I thought about maybe buying them and holding them back in case they're worth something later on down the road. But I didn't. There were some other pieces that I wanted to buy, and I'll show you those here in just a minute. But let me go ahead and just show you the first clip. So this first clip is going to be kind of a short clip, but it was the table, the very first table that you come to as you come into the arena. It was straight ahead of the doors after you sign in and you come in. So you'll see some of the selections on this table, and I actually recognize this this particular dealer. He actually was the same dealer that was at the first show that I was at in Birmingham, and I purchased the World War II Nazi coin from him. So you'll see in this clip, you'll see a couple more of those on his table, or in the box on the table that I took this video of. And he had several boxes that I did not record, and the reason I didn't is because he had other customers that were looking at items in those cases, and I didn't want to try to interfere with his business and the business that he was doing. So I just recorded some of the boxes, the display cases that he had that were open and available with nobody in front of them. So anyway, I'll let you take a look at those real quick. So check these out, and then I'll show you some more stuff here shortly. All right, so as you saw in those 2 clips, he had a pretty good variety. One thing that I've noticed is I'm finding a lot of paper currency at these shows, and even in these 2 display cases that I showed you at his table, at his booth, he had quite a bit of old paper money. And that's not something that I really know a whole lot about. But I have, just in listening to some of the people who are very interested in that type of product at these shows, it does appear that there's a lot of money involved in that. So it's kind of interesting to me to see if there's a concept there of you know, a way to buy and sell paper money. But like I said, it's a market that I know absolutely nothing about. But it is fun to look at the history of the paper money. Especially for me, I enjoy looking at some of the Confederate money and some of the older U.S. currency. It's just the history behind some of that is pretty neat. But I'm a silver guy, so I just really don't typically look at it very much. But I just noticed that there was quite a few tables that had a lot of paper money, and I have noticed that at a lot of these coin shows. So anyway, moving on, there was, like I said, there was a lot more display cases on this guy's table, and I actually, like I said, I couldn't record as I come in. I couldn't record a lot of that, but there was one display case that I didn't get any video footage of, but I did come back to this particular booth on my way out. And when I left, he had something that I really wanted to pick up, and I did pick it up. And I'll show that to you in this video. But so I did come back to this table and bought something else from him. But for now, we're going to move on just a little bit further, and I'm going to show you a couple of more cases and some of the things that these guys had in their cases as well.
40 and 35.
There's some good looking coins. I think so. So much to look at. So as you saw in those two clips, there's some of these booths, they really have some good quality coins. Not all these coins are graded. If you're very good at grading coins, which I'm not, it's not something that I've ever really tried to study up on. But if you're good at looking at a coin and examining coins and being able to determine their grade, there's some possibilities that you could really pick up some good deals on these coins and have them graded and possibly flip the coins or just upgrade some of the ones that are in your stack if you're interested in stuff like that. But if you're on the collector side of things, if you're a collector stacker, there's some things at these coin shows that would really catch your eye. And like I said, there's a part of me, I'm more of a prepper stacker, but there is a collector stacker inside of me that really does want to collect something besides just stacking, as far as, just trying to get weight. But anyway, so that was just a little bit. But now the next two clips that I want to show you, this is a different table. This is going to be the table that had the Trump bars, and you're going to see those. There's 5 of them in his display case. And I really didn't take a lot of money to this particular one because I've spent so much this month, and I really didn't have a lot of access to spend. But that being said, these particular Trump bars, if you can find them, I do believe that, in my opinion, of all the Trump bars and Trump rounds and Trump stuff that have been made over the years, I kind of feel like this particular bar and this particular design is by far, as far as for my eye appeal, this is the best bar that I've ever seen, just for eye appeal. For that purpose, I wouldn't mind having some of these, because regardless of what you think about politics or whatever, and regardless of what happens with the upcoming elections, Trump is always going to have a loyal fan base. And at some point in time, just like Ronald Reagan, to this day, there's a lot of people that really love Ronald Reagan, and he's been dead and gone for years. But if you had Reagan stuff like this, and Reagan wasn't anywhere near as controversial as Trump is. And so you have people that either love Trump or they completely hate Trump, and there's not a whole lot that's in the middle. It's either, it's a love-hate kind of thing. And for those who love him, they love him. And, 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, I just kind of feel like some of the Trump stuff is going to be, it's going to carry a better premium. a lot better premium. Now, silver was roughly $30 an ounce, has been, off and on for the last few days. Over the weekend, it was probably 29, upper 29s. And he was asking $45 a piece. Now, I didn't try to Jew him because I wasn't interested in buying them because I already have one that I wanted just for my stack. But since I've come home, I thought, hey, I probably should have bought those because these particular bars are, even though I guess they're mass produced, but there's not as many of those as you see some of the other type rounds and other type bars. I just don't see as many of these. So for that reason, I feel like they would probably be a good item to buy and hold for a shallow stack. And then at a later date, you could sell those off and make a profit. But again, like I said, he was asking $45, which is a 50% markup. Because if silver's $30, he's asking a $15 premium. That's 50% of its current melt value is the premium on that bar. A 50% premium is pretty high. But again, 10 to 15 years from now, Trump probably won't be here. And just because Trump is up in age. And then on top of that, silver's probably going to be worth more than $30 an ounce. It's probably going to be worth, I think, probably closer to the $35 to $40 range within that time frame pretty easily, I would think. And if that is true and that holds true and that's the case, then obviously those particular bars are going to be worth a lot more money. So I would say that for me, I'm going to consider maybe starting to pick these up every time I go to a coin show and see them. But real quick, I'll let you look at that. And then the next tape, the same booth, but on a different table, he had another case. And he didn't. This particular booth didn't have a lot of cases. Like I said, he had the one that had the silver and the Trump bars. And then the next case was his gold case. And I was like, man, seeing that gold, he had a bunch of 1/10 ounce Eagles. And the gold that was sitting on that table, he had tens of thousands worth of dollars of gold. So it was just, to me, because I'm trying to build my gold stack, I really liked that particular box. But I'll let you take a look at that and you let me know what you think in the comments.
Those are hard to come by.
Yes, sir.
Let's say they come with a hefty price tag too, don't they?
Yes, sir.
It might be a little bit smaller than this, but it's a whole lot more busy. A whole lot more busy. It might be almost the size. Almost.
All right, so as you can see, in that gold display box, he had his prices listed. So an ounce was just over $2,500 per ounce, but the 1/10 ounce he was selling for $290 a piece. That's probably, as far as what gold prices were, that's probably a decent price because gold was up. It's at an all-time high, or it was close to an all-time high at the point in which I was at this sale. But that being said, if you watch my video from just a couple of weeks ago, the last coin show that I went to, I was able to get the American Eagles for $265. So it is possible that you could negotiate. Like I said, I didn't really go looking for gold, but at the beginning of this month, on August the 1st, when I was at the Dalton show with Southeast, that particular show, I was able to pick up 2 of my 3 gold pieces that I wanted. I was able to pick up a maple leaf, a 1/10 ounce maple for $260, and I was able to get the 1/10 ounce American Eagle for $265. So, but at the time, gold was in the $2,400 range. So, really his asking price was probably a little bit high, but I didn't check gold prices before I left as far as what I would have been able to get a 1/10 ounce online for, because as I said, I wasn't actually going to this show with the destination of looking for gold like I did back on August the 1st. But all of that being said, this next table, I'm going to show you a quick clip. This guy had quite a bit of stuff. His table was loaded down with with different types of merchandise. And he had a variety that was really good. And I'm only going to show you the first piece of this. There's something I want you to notice, and I'll show you. Okay, so if you noticed, the second box from the right, there was a red box. There were 4 or 5 red boxes across the top at the end of that video clip. The second one over was a box that was labeled Vintage Bars. And that particular box caught my attention. And I thought, I've got to look through that. And the reason why is because World Money Wins has got me in the mindset of looking for vintage bars. But in particular, he has a couple of, back when I was on vacation in New York, visiting some family up north, I went to a coin shop and purchased some vintage bars at a coin shop. And when I did, some of those bars, I picked up 4 bars that were some Ford bars, some Ford car, Ford motor. And apparently, World Money Wins, when he saw that, let me know, hey, that is actually, there's a series of those. And I believe he told me that series contained 12 separate bars. I have 4 of them. And I would love to complete that 12 bar set. Later on, World Money Wins put out a video, and he tagged me to that video. And he, at one of his local coin shops, had found several of those that I do not have. So because of that, I'm like, well, now I want all of those bars for that series. And he has some that I want. And he let me know in that video that if he's interested in Halloween stuff. So if you ever watch his stuff, you know he loves Halloween memorabilia, whether it be movies, posters, whatever. He just loves that time of year. And he loves Halloween bars. So every time I go to a coin show now, or even to a local coin shop somewhere, anywhere where I'm out looking for silver, or I see someone selling silver, I specifically ask them, do they have any vintage Halloween bars? So when I saw that that box was loaded with vintage bars, I thought maybe there will be something in there that's Halloween. Unfortunately, there wasn't. But, so that being said, World Money Wins, I definitely understand why you're looking for the Halloween bars. They're extremely difficult to find. At least they are for me, because I've looked, and still, as of yet, everywhere that I've gone to over the last few months, I have yet to find one Halloween bar. But inside that vintage bar, there were a couple of bars that I did want to get. And one of them is one of the Ford bars that I do not believe I had. This was the only Ford bar that he had in the whole vintage set, or the whole box full of vintage bars. There's no manufacturer's mark. I'm still not sure who it is that makes these. It seems like World Money may have told me who makes these, because he looked them up in a book. I want to say that these were put out by Silvertown, but I don't see anything on here that indicates that. But again, I did pick up one of these bars, and I do believe that's one of the ones that I did not have. I will have to go back at a later date and check to see. But that being said, I also picked up a few more bars. And what I decided to do is I'm not necessarily doing the Guardhouse 1 ounce bar box challenge. Not in the context that Silverstruck is doing it. Just because I'm already doing so many other challenges, it's very difficult for me to financially do anymore. But as I do see vintage bars that I like, I do try to pick those up. So what I am going to try to do is I'm wanting to try, I do have a Guardhouse box that I bought this year. And I'm not going to try to fill it this year, but my goal is to eventually fill that particular box, which will hold 50 bars. I'm going to try to fill that with holiday themed bars. So I'm going to eventually have to find some Halloween bars for myself as well. But I may do, like I said, I may try to complete this series just for the fun of having all those. But I want to fill a box of vintage holiday bars. So whether it be Christmas, Thanksgiving, Father's Day, Mother's Day, any of that, I want to try to come up with with some bars that represents that. And my goal is to have 50 bars that none of them are duplicates. I don't want to have 50 of the same bars. So I'm going to try to come up with 50 of them. And when I was going through, I did find a couple of bars for Father's Day. And I think there were 3 different bars that were Father's Day bars. I just didn't take enough cash with me to buy everything. So that being said, I did go ahead and purchase one of the 3 or 4 that I found. And I just like the design on this one, on the front of it. But this is from the Motherlode Mint, which is a mint that I've never heard of. But that is what it says on the back, Motherlode Mint. So 1 ounce, 3 nines fine. And it's a Father's Day bar from 1973. And it's got a father and his son fishing. So I really like this bar. Did have some dark toning or staining on the back as well as a little bit on the front, but either way, I really like this bar, so I picked that one up as well. And then the last 2 bars that I picked up, and I know I told you I didn't want duplicates, but I did get these Christmas bars, and they're actually not duplicates. So something that I learned from World Money, the last time that he looked up a bar, I had purchased some vintage bars. A couple, I think it was at the Dalton show, I believe is where I picked them up. It was either from the Dalton show a couple of weeks ago, or it was the Birmingham, Alabama show a little bit before that. But I picked up some bars, and I didn't know anything about the bar. World Money did a short real quick to let me know what it was that I'd picked up. And he showed me something that I didn't realize. So what he showed me was the one that I had the same front, but it came in 2 different varieties on the back. And he showed me the one that I had, but if I would have had the other variety, it would have been a more rare pickup. And so now that gave me the knowledge to an understanding that just because you look at a bar doesn't necessarily mean it is the same bar. And indeed, both of these bars have the same front, same image. It looks like the same die that was cast in the front. However, they have different backs. This one is a Silvertown from Winchester, Indiana from 1988. All right. But the back of this one is blank. It just says 1 ounce, 3 nines fine. I'm assuming that this is probably still a Silvertown bar, but they did not put their name or logo or any type of dates on the back of the bar. So when it was stamped out, it had a different reverse. Same obverse with a different reverse. So when I noticed that, I thought, well, I'm definitely going to pick both of these up. So I had to that's the reason I had to let some of the Father's Day bars go, is because I found the Christmas bars and I found 2 that did not match, which let me know that I had, type 1, type 2. I have absolutely no idea how many different types there are of this particular bar, but I went ahead and picked it up. It may have been a good thing. It may have been a bad thing. I do not know. But I would still put both of these bars in the 50 bar container that I'm going to try to fill up with holiday type stuff. And that will fit in there for me. So, but anyway, that is the pickups that I got out of that particular vintage bar pickup. So, that being said, this same guy, like I said, he had a lot of stuff at his table. And as it turns out, he actually wanted to be on a video. So I did do a little bit of a quick interview with this man. I'll go ahead and put that in here right quick so that you can see it. All right, so we've got a guy that wants to be on the video here in just a second. He's with a customer, and I'm going to introduce you to him. He actually has a Facebook group that he does, and let you guys meet him. This is some of the stuff that he has. He has a really good collection. All right, so we're with Dickie, and Dickie is going to introduce himself to you. He does a Facebook group.
Morning, guys. Dickie McCraney. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to the Coin Show.
Yeah.
I have a Facebook group I sell coins on Facebook, and it's MMM Coins and More.
MMM Coins and More. And this is the one I was telling you that he's got a huge selection and a huge variety of different items. So he'll definitely have something that you'd want to look at. So go check him out if you're on Facebook. Do you have any other social media besides Facebook that you're on, or do you just primarily?
A little bit on Whatnot.
Okay. So do you have a link or anything that I could put in there for? Is it on your card?
Not the Whatnot. It's
okay.
Dickie MC.
Dickie MC on Whatnot. And you said that you do.
I do live auctions on Tuesday night and one night on the weekend, either Friday or Saturday, depending on what kind of coin show I'm at.
Okay, and that's going to be on your Facebook group, correct?
That is on my Facebook group.
Okay.
Yes. I also have a second Facebook group where I do pre-sales. It's MMM Coins and More pre-sale page.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so like I said, Dickie, he's got like I said, he really had a really good selection of different types of stuff. And he does have a Facebook page, and I did show his card in the thing, or in the video clip, but I'm just going to go ahead and show it to you again right here. So if you guys want to go check him out, if you're on Facebook, and I would say definitely go to his auction, see what he's got, see what you can do. I'm pretty sure you could probably get some pretty good deals off of him. But again, like I said, I did purchase these from him, and of course, then after that and after the interview, I did move on to some more tables. I did not record a lot more on any of those tables, so like I told you, I did go back to that very first table on the way out, because they did have something that, and like I said, I couldn't record it because other people were looking at this particular area, and I didn't want to try to be invasive with my recording. So I did come back to the booth, and I did pick this up because it was something that I really just wanted to have. All of you know I love history. If you watched my shows much, you know I love history. And I love the Bible. I love biblical history. And there was some coins that he had that I really wanted, so I went ahead and got it. And this is going to be, for all of you who knows much about the Bible, there was a widow woman, and you can read about her in Mark chapter 12. And Jesus is watching, and he's watching people throw money into the treasury. And there was a widow woman with her child that comes in, and all she has is 2 mites, just 2 mites. And she tosses the mites into the treasury. And Jesus told his disciples that she actually put in more than all the other men did. When they were throwing in, obviously they were throwing in more money, because the men were kind of astonished at what he said. So it wasn't that she put in a great value, but he told them, he said, they, talking about the men who were just throwing in money, they were putting in money out of their abundance, but she put in all that she had. And so at this table, he had some mites that were graded. They're NGC graded, and he says that they are real. It's NGC. But either way, I had to pick one up. Now consider, she had 2 of these, and that was all that she had. And this particular coin was put into a little display case. You see the NGC slab. Like I said, I'm assuming that it is real. I did look up these mites, and sure enough, That is the design. There's a couple of different designs on the mites that this is, I think this was considered to be an anchor design. And, you know, like I said, the coin is old. It's got a VF, very fine grade from NGC. That being said, I don't know that what it's really worth, and I didn't necessarily buy it for the monetary value. I bought this because of just more or less the historical value that I wanted for myself. There is a design on the back of this, and I'm not 100% sure what that pattern is. But he had a couple of these, and like I said, I just wanted to get one. My wife wanted one too, so we did pick this up. And as you see, this is an example of a mite that would have been made during the years of 135 to 37 BC. So this, if this is legitimate, and it's not something that's counterfeited or whatever, or a replica, and I don't see on here where NGC labels this as a replica. I believe that this probably is true to its date. Obviously, they didn't date these coins, but they do know that these were minted somewhere between 135 and 37 years BC. So that being said, you can go read about this and read about the widow's mite. You can read about her, what Jesus had to say about her and what she had done and how pleased he was with what she had done. And you can read about that in Mark, and you can also read about it in Luke if you want to go look that up for yourself. I'm assuming that that's, I haven't looked it up to see if this is correct, but it does say that Mark chapter 12, verses 41 through 44, and then Luke chapter 21, verses 1 through 4. So anyway, I just love history, and who knows? I mean, obviously, if this was made 37 years before Christ was born, then when Christ was about 30 years old, 32 years old, whenever roughly around the age that he was when he would have made that comment to his disciples, then it's very, very well could have been in circulation still at the time that Jesus made that comment. And if that's the case, who knows? I mean, I know that these were mass produced, but you never know whose hands these coins have been in over the millenniums. So, I mean, you think of how many hundreds of years these coins have been either in circulation or, hidden underground and then rediscovered and passed around from that time, the discovery time forward. I mean, it's just amazing what these things have. I did kind of, like I said, I did kind of look this up, and I'll have to go back. I'm going to look this up again. Let me look this up, because I'm thinking that they said that what this value of one mite, if I'm not mistaken, it was 1/6 of a day's wages. Let me look that up right quick. All right, guys. So this is what I find interesting. I told you wrong. It was not 1/6. The actual value in that day and time was 1/64 of a denarius. And a denarius was about a day's wage for the common worker during that time period. So what they would earn in one day was one denarius, and this, she was holding a value. She had two of these, but each one of these represented 1/64 of a day's wage. So to put that into perspective, in our time, roughly, according to the government's studies and what they rank things at, $52,839 per year is about the average, roughly the average income for someone in this country. So if you take 52,839, that roughly equates out to about $26.42 per hour that's earned. So based on an 8-hour workday, the average wage in America today would be roughly about $211.36. So this would be worth 1/64th of a day's wage. That means that this might, in today's money, if we still had a denomination that would break down a day's wage, this particular mite would be worth $3.30. And she had 2 of these. So she had all into her name. She had $6.60 to her name. And she threw every bit of it into the treasury. So again, like I said, that's the thing I love about history. I love just to look and to think that somebody held this 2,000 years ago, almost 2,100 years ago, somewhere in that time frame. Somebody was using this to help buy things that they needed to survive in life. And they would go work a day and hope to have 64 of these when they come home that day. So that just puts things into perspective for me. And like I said, I love history, and I just had to have one of those. I know it has nothing to do with stacking, but it had something to do with, I just love the biblical stories. So all of that being said, that was my pickups from the Gadsden Coin Show. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you watching. I'm going to try to go to another coin show at some point and continue that, because I do enjoy going to coin shows, and you guys seem to enjoy watching the coin show content. So a lot of you have told me you really like it. So I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy showing you what a coin show, what type of things you can find at a coin show. So if you guys get a chance and opportunity, a coin show is available in your area, I highly recommend that you go check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. There'll be so much there that you'll want to buy. So be careful. Don't overspend. Be careful with your budgets. You know how it goes. We kind of get to a situation where everything that shines, we want it. And there's a lot of shiny stuff at a coin show. I guarantee it. So anyway, again, I appreciate you watching. And remember, we build our wealth one asset at a time. So keep stacking.